All right, guys. Welcome back to Fantasy Baseball 2023. I am here with my apparently co-commissioners. I don't know when I became a commissioner of this league, but here we are.
You
So,
assist in making the
Yeah, you
rankings.
just help with the videos. That's all.
yes.
Yeah,
So
Don't let it get to your head.
you're the media guy.
it has not gotten to my head. So
You're
this
so soon to
video,
do it,
we are
man.
going to try and get through it as fast as possible because we have a lot to say, obviously, with the season starting. So what we did was we have the updated power rankings, which again was we all three made our own separate ones and then averaged it out to be the least bias. And we took our favorite or best and worst pick from the first 10 rounds of the draft. And believe me, there was a lot of heated debate over these selections. And I will tell you which ones we had the most debate about. And there were some that were very obvious, which I think all of you would know. But I think we're going to start with that. So in round one, this was right off the bat, we had a very big debate. So we arrived at the conclusion that Corbin Burns was the best pick by Jake. I was
Yeah.
overruled. I was not going to go with this pick, but you guys are more than welcome to explain why you think this was the best pick because I disagreed.
Oh yeah. As a person that drafted him in all my mocks and all my research, he was never gonna fall to 11, and he's by far the best starting pitcher, SB1 in fantasy baseball. And getting him at 11 is great value considering that he could have gone in top five and it wouldn't have even been questioned. So just kind of crazy how besides Shohei, J Ram, Turner, Judge, and maybe Soto, everyone else passed on Burns. So yeah.
Not the best pitcher by far. Cole's right there with him, but Burns is better. I have to take Cole to actually follow the Yankees a little bit this year, but yeah, we thought Burns was definitely the best value pick at 11 for sure.
Well, Charlie, I was with you. I wanted it to be Trey Turner, not because I thought it was the best pick, but just because I loved what your pick represented. I love that you took a risk taking him and you went all in on it.
He's
So
blazing him right now. God
I
damn.
appreciated it. I liked it. The worst pick, we also had a debate on this. And again, I was overruled. So they decided that Ronald Acuna Jr. was the worst pick of the first round. And again, you guys are more than welcome to explain that.
It's all about value and where you can get these players. Acuna, we know, 5-tool player, great guy, great person, whatever. But going 12th overall, where you could have probably gotten him in the second round, not specifically for AJ, but second round or third round, like over, like in that area, we thought that there were a lot of better players like Tucker, Jordan, and some of the pitchers that could have been picked over Acuna. Not a bad player, just a bad spot. That's all.
Yeah, Trout Tucker, Trout Alvarez, Trout Alcantara, all those are better outcomes than Trout Acuna. Could have potentially got him in round 3, even if he ended up going before his next pick. Still a little bit of a reach, but definitely should have went with someone else.
Okay. Just full disclaimer. These are just our opinions and we don't know
No,
any more than
it's the truth.
okay. Well, it's the
the
truth,
facts.
but we
Yeah.
don't know any more than anyone else. But I'd like to think we know a little bit more than some others. I mean, we have like combined like 4 championships between between all of us.
No,
Jugger, how many do you have?
I was an integral part in that number.
I have all of them.
So we're gonna move on to round 2. So there wasn't a ton of debate in this round, but we decided that Sandy Alcantara was the best pick of this round. One of Vince's good picks. They were few and far between. I mean, he got the Cy Young Award winner at pick 16, so we thought that was really good value. There's not really much else to say about that, unless you guys have anything you want to add.
No, that's good.
good pick.
And then the worst one, if you guys have ever talked about baseball with me, Jason, or Jake, you will know that Corey Seager does not belong on a professional baseball team.
Yep.
He scores so many points. He's not even bad. It's just funny. He had
He's
like
bad.
526 points last year.
And I know what Matt's thought process was. He's thinking, oh, the shift is gone now. I got a lefty hitter that got, screwed over by the shift over the years. He sucks. And there's no debate. So that is the worst pick of round 2.
I think honorable mention for that round is Pete Alonso. That guy's a loser. I hate him. He's probably deadlifting in the tunnels as we speak. He's a bad pick. I would have passed on him every single round.
Okay. Round 3. There was, again, not a ton of debate in this round. So we went with Matt Olson as the best pick. There weren't many like terrible picks, but there weren't just many that stood out. I think most people just went about where they were supposed to in this round. But
Besides
Matt
for-
Olson, what?
Nothing.
Okay. But Matt Olson is, probably gonna have 40 doubles this year, probably 30 home runs, 100 RBIs in a stacked lineup. So, getting him at the end of round 3, we thought was really good value. And it's kind of funny that the best pick was also adjacent to the worst pick of the round, which
Another one for AJ. We got Luis Castillo. Once again, not a bad player. He's picking good players. He's just reaching a little. That's all. So, I mean, personally, I probably would have taken, I don't know, Kevin Gooseman, Brandon Woodruff, Max Fried, Alec Noah, just a few maybe like 6 pitchers over Castillo. But hey, like preference is preference. So be it. Moving on to round 4.
yeah, round 4, we'll throw a little change up in here. We'll go with the worst first. Wander Franco was our worst pick of the 4th round. Now, James, I think I was your biggest defender throughout this entire process of us doing this. I like your draft. I like your team. But this was the only one that I was very serious about not liking. Wander Franco blows, and I think Jason knows that better than anyone, considering he worked with the Tampa organization. I think, Jason got a little bit of insider trading going on and got a text from the GM of the Rays when he was getting called up, which was kind of bullshit.
No.
Which was
That's fair
bullshit.
game. That's so fair.
It was bullshit. But he has not worked out thus far in his career. He signed that 10-year, whatever $1 million contract, that huge contract, and he's mostly not lived up to it. So I didn't like the pick in the 4th round. I don't think he provides a ton of fantasy value. So
Agree.
yeah,
I don't think there's anyone else really in that round that.
okay.
uh,
And the best pick, this may surprise some people, but was Fernando Tatis. And so he was a really interesting one. He's out until
Oh, really?
April 20th, because he's suspended from PEDs. And I think he's a huge question mark, when he comes back, because, we don't know what he's like without PEDs, and he hasn't played baseball in like a year. But with that being said, if he wasn't suspended this year for only the first month, by the way, which really doesn't even mean anything, if you can survive the first month, you have a top 1st round talent on your team. And now that Sam has that, I think if he wasn't suspended this year, he would have easily gone at the top of the 2nd round, maybe even would have gotten into the 1st round. So I think that was incredible value in the 4th round.
Yeah, that was a good pick. I think also other good picks, Max Fried and Framber. I think Framber's gonna win the Cy Young this year. So that's a pretty good pick, but I hate Tatis. He's an ass. So I don't really like that pick. I got overruled by the 2 of them, but it was a good round overall.
It was a good round. Yeah.
Yeah.
So round 5, I think we had the least debate of who the best pick was. Obviously it was Brandon Woodruff. I mean, Jason got Brandon Woodruff in the 5th round, which is
I don't know why
absolutely
it fell
insane.
so far.
Like, honestly, if you had switched Brandon Woodruff with Luis Castillo, that would have made so much more sense. But the idea that Jason got him in the 5th round is absolutely ridiculous. So there was no debate there. And the worst pick, there was a little bit of debate. So we were arguing over the catchers. We just think obviously they're the two best catchers in baseball. Well, maybe not.
Whoa.
Maybe
Not
not.
Adley. No, not
Not Will
Adley.
Smith. Fuck that guy.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. You explain it.
No, all I'm saying is when there's value in later rounds, like I don't know, JT Realmuto, debatably the number one, where you could get someone like that in round 7, it doesn't make sense to take a catcher that's so similar to those caliber, like Smith and potentially Adley, in the 5th. When I don't know, I probably would have rather had Zach Gallen, Javier, or Xander over Will Smith, and I'd much rather have half the guys in the 6th round over Adley. So yeah, that's why those two picks really standing out to us.
But we couldn't decide on which catcher to choose, so we just went with someone else. And I actually vied for this the hardest. Jake Cronenworth, we eventually agreed was the worst pick of this round. He's just not that good, and there were a lot of other players that in the later rounds that I think we would have taken over him. I know he started out hot, I think 2 years ago. He had a really good first half of the year, and really since then he hasn't been that good. So I just feel like he could have probably fell to the 7th round, and it would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So round 6, we had a bit of a tough time with. So originally, if Tristan McKenzie didn't get hurt, I think maybe not unanimously, but it definitely would have been my pick for the best pick of this round. And we didn't make it the worst because obviously, you couldn't have known he was going to get hurt. So I really liked this pick at the time. He's really good, but obviously we couldn't go with that because he got hurt. So we went with Jose Abreu, showing Champy a little love here. Jose Abreu won the MVP 2 years ago, and he has shown nothing to show that he's incapable of being that guy again. And he's now in a really good offense in Houston and a hitter's ballpark, and I think he can be really good. So I really like that pick for Champy. If you guys have anything else to add.
He'll probably be better than last year. He wasn't that great last year, but yeah, he's going into Houston. They have a way of kind of fixing people, how the Dodgers do too. So good environment for him. Probably be able to figure it out. And yeah, best pick in the very mid round.
Yeah. Do you guys want to go over the worst pick of this round?
So the worst pick is Anthony Santander. We all kind of hate him. On the Orioles, why do we hate him? What happened?
He just sucks.
He's just not good.
I was taking Jose Abreu, Vinny
Yeah.
Pasquantino, or Josh Bell over him.
I thought it should be Stephen Kwan. I hate that dude too. He hits singles, which is kind of irrelevant for fantasy. And also Harrison Santander over Kwan, I probably would have done, but I got to overrule Santander.
Yeah. I do remember when Jeff took him, me, Jason, and Jake, we were colluding on FaceTime during the draft. And I remember we all said, wow, that pick sucked. So sorry, Jeffrey.
Yo, are you good?
What? What?
Flying around over here.
What do you mean? I was burnt.
Oh, that's what that was.
Oh, you thought I ripped?
I'm flying around. All right, go to the next one.
All right. Round 7, there was a lot of debate in round 7. So, and for both, for the best and the worst. So for the best, I feel like I've been talking a lot. So
Yeah, fly through it.
Okay. So for the best, we took Carlos Rodon. So Carlos Rodon is going to be, you know what, Jason? This is your pick, your player. You talk about him.
Sure. Glad you brought that up. Carlos Rodon, before he got hurt, projected 2nd round pick. Now, yeah, you might be thinking, well, Jason, he did get hurt, so that's why he's in the 7th round. All right, but he's only out 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Nothing a guy like me cannot handle. All right, Carlos Rodon will come back better than ever. Get a 2nd round talent in the 7th round. ESPN has him projected to get 17 points, to average 17 points per start while missing 1 month of the season. So I think over everybody else, he's probably the best player on the board in this round and pitcher. And he's a Yankee, so that gives him bonus points. maybe a smooch too.
So yeah, it took us a long time to arrive at that. I wanted it personally to be Willie Adames. I really like him. And originally Jake had voted for Luis Garcia.
Yeah,
But-
Luis is a dog.
I am not the biggest Luis Garcia person. And I realized we weren't going to come to an agreement on Willie Adames, so I just hopped on the Carlos Rodon train because, it is a good pick. But personally, my favorite was Willie Adames, and Jake's personal favorite was Luis Garcia.
That's
But
true.
we will go to the worst one of this round now, which we also had some debate on, but we came to Brian Reynolds. So Brian Reynolds sucks. And we've been waiting for him to get traded to an actual baseball team for what feels like 17 decades at this point. But it doesn't seem like that's happening because every day I get another update that like him and the Pirates are close to signing an extension. So whether it happens or not, he's really at his, I know he had 27 home runs last year, but he had 62 RBIs. And like, yeah, that's partly because the Pirates suck, but like, it's also because he's just not that great. And he's mostly a singles hitter. He doesn't get a lot of doubles. He doesn't get a lot of triples. He doesn't walk a lot. So unfortunately, he's just not that great for fantasy. I like the player himself. And maybe if he does get traded to an actual baseball team, he could, that RBI number could bump up. But for now that he's staying on the Pirates, we just didn't think he was a great player.
Good job.
Thank you. So round 8, we tried not to be biased in this. Of course, we're going to like our own picks the most, but we went with CJ Cron. And we wanted to show AJ some love because I really did like that pick. I had him last year. He was probably the MVP of my team, which should show you how bad my team was last year. But CJ Cron is a really good player, and he plays in Colorado. So basically, whatever numbers you think he's going to have, bump them up by about 30%. He had like 30 home runs last year, and he had 29 home runs and 102 RBIs. So he's a really good player. He put up 423 points last year. So to get that in the 8th round, we thought was really good value. Do you want to go over the worst pick of the 8th round?
Yeah, I think we decided on Class A just because relief pitchers have no business going around rounds 8 and 9. So yeah, keeping it simple. We hate relief pitchers.
It was also that, relief pitchers are very streaky year to year, and you have no idea what they're going to do year to year. So that was why we went with that. But
All right,
the 9th
last 2 rounds.
Jason, you can take the 9th round. There were a lot of really good picks in the 9th round, I will say. And then a lot of bad ones.
All right, so change it up for round 9. The worst pick first here. We got O'Neal Cruz. Dude about 7 feet tall, weighs 100 pounds. And
You're talking about Tristan McKenzie, actually.
Tristan McKenzie is close to that. He can throw the ball a million miles per hour, but I don't think he could hit a wiffle ball on a tee. So he's a pretty bad player for fantasy, but overall, I guess in real life, he's actually somewhat decent. And then the best pick was Merrill Kelly or Adolis? It was Adolis Garcia. Yeah, he was on my team last year. He was really good. He kind of broke out the last couple of years. The absolute definition of boomer bust. He'll either hit a home run or strike out. There's really no other in between. Rarely hits singles, rarely walks. So either
But
look
when
for
he does, he will steal 25 bases.
he'll steal bases, or he'll get you 7 or -1. Those are really the only outcomes.
Yes. Okay. And our last round, we again had debate in this round. Well, we had 0 debate on the worst pick. And Jason, or Jake, I know one of you is dying to talk about this.
All right. Worst pick was Yandy Diaz. I don't even know how that's possible to take him in the 10th round. Sorry, AJ. I don't even know where he was ranked or if you searched his name up, but that's a crazy pick.
Why is he projected a lot of points?
Well,
fuck?
he hit 296 last year, so I guess he can't be that bad. Oh my god. All right, good pick, AJ. My bad. All right, on to the next guy. We fucked that up. All right.
We just discredited her.
Get out of that. Get out of that. Best pick of this round. Who was it? It was we wanted to show Jeff some love again after kind of talking bad on his team before. So we gave him Patrick Sandoval. who was really good for Team Mexico a couple of weeks ago in the World Baseball Classic. Hopefully he can continue that into the season. Angels should be a little bit better. Hopefully Sandoval can do something behind Ohtani as the second starter there and maybe win some games for Mike Trout over there.
Yes. Okay. We were gonna go through some of the other rounds, but this video's already been going on for too long, so we won't. So we'll just go into our power rankings. That the power rankings that I think Jake sent out the other night
Yeah,
was
I was pretty high when we did those, so I just like sent out like the most random order. So yeah, don't take those to heart. These are a little more thought out, but as always, there's gonna be a little controversy, and as always, it's pretty inaccurate of what it's gonna be. But this is just like first impressions and kind of our bias trying not to come out. So yeah,
yeah.
go
So
ahead. Take it away.
we'll start at 12. This really, I know you've been getting a lot of hate in this video, and it's not done intentionally. It's just
Not
done.
personal.
It's not personal, but
Oh,
AJ's team is subpar. He has a plethora of Yankees. And that's cool. That's great. I want to root for my boys too. But taking Anthony Volpe in the 15th round is a little interesting. Andrew Benintendi blows. And yeah, I mean, there's not a ton to say about the team. The pitching is absolutely atrocious. It's probably the second worst rotation in the league.
I don't think it's that bad. Timeout. Jason, get off the screen. I don't think his pitching's that bad at all. Look at it. I like Giolito. I like Evaldi, and Springs is fine. Presley's good for a closer. I don't know. Definitely not the worst in the league.
yes, Cy Young Framber too.
He
I
doesn't-
think Walker and Cueto aren't rosterable, but besides that, all right, let's fly through these so they don't get bored as much.
All right. Number 11,
And Bob.
I can give 2 wits. Jake, you are more than welcome to talk about your five.
Good old Vince. Well, I thought he was prepared for the draft, and it seems like he only was prepared for the first like 8 rounds, and then he started pulling out names out of his ass. I think he has Aaron Savali, who the Yankees lit up in 1 inning in the ALDS last year. So that was a great pick. He also took, he took Tyler Stevenson. I called him after because like, what the fuck was that pick? He took Stevenson over Sean Murphy and Salvador Perez. And the way he explained it, he was like, I don't know what's happened. The clock was going down so much, and I just took the highest ranked catcher, and I didn't do it based off the skill. I just saw points. I clicked the points. It is an accident. So that was a mistake of a pick. And then he drafted Kirby Ruiz, who is the most identical player as Stevenson. And he was like, I can't even trade one of them because they're the exact same. They're not worth shit. So yeah. But besides that, he has some potential, and we'll see what happens. I doubt finishes 11th because he has a lot of high scoring guys like Garcia, Mullins, Vlad, Witt could break out, Henderson could break out. So there's potential, but I doubt it's going to actually finish at 11. So yeah.
And he forgot to mention that he also has All-Star Donnie on his team, so that'll give him a couple extra points more.
And
than
he
he's
also
projected
has like
to.
the most creative names. He went from smooth as Tennessee whiskey to Captain Vince to I could give 2 wits in a matter of like 3 hours.
So bad.
Go to the next
I can't do it.
John, control yourself.
Oh, there we go. I got it. All right, who's next?
No, Junger, you have the rankings.
Who's next?
Matt is next. I'm sorry.
Team Meatball. Nice name, Matt. Matt, your team, you got Shohei, and then you got potential. It's just not flashy. I mean,
Shohei is pretty much the only reason you're not last. And that was just, pure luck that your name got pulled out last.
yeah,
Again.
it's not even us that hates it. ESPN actually hates it the most too, giving you a 32% chance of making the playoffs. So it's not just us, it's other people. I mean, your pitching's pretty filthy with those 5 in the starters.
Yeah.
Maybe some going last. I like your pitching. Pitching's good. Hitting's just pretty ugly, but yeah.
I don't even know who Esteury Ruiz is, but
You just predicted a steal a lot.
okay.
All right.
I don't know.
Next team.
Yeah.
We're running out of time.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
you got 10 minutes.
Number 9 is Jeffrey.
You can talk about it so we can kick your ass later.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, his team is just pretty average. I mean, like after, like, yeah, I know we liked Sandoval, but like, he's only, we like him, but I don't think that anyone's expecting him to be like a frontline starter. So like, yeah, Cease is obviously good, and Logan Webb is like, I guess, pretty good. But there's just not like a ton on this team. Like Machado and Alonso are gonna have to really carry your team, and as Jason already mentioned, Pete Alonso is a piece. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's the worst.
I thought that my middle infield was bad, but then I saw Gene Segura and Eduardo Escobar, and then it made me feel really good about myself.
Well, you can't mention Eduardo Escobar because that was his auto pick that apparently was my fault, but I don't want to talk about that.
All right, next team.
Marcus, you're at number 8.
Good old Marcus.
So yeah, my house 46 Leroy is not showing out so strong right now.
46 Leroy.
It's Leroy, that's our street. So yeah, I mean, obviously Judge is gonna have to carry your team. Starling Marte is like 128 years old, so I don't think he's going to be able to replicate what he did last year. Byron Buxton is made of paper mache, so I don't know what he's going to be able to do. He'll be good for the games that he plays, all like 17 of them. So yeah. Oh. Rendon is good for about 9 games a year. Marcus's team should really just be called the all injury first team because I've never seen a team have so many injuries in my life. And he already has it with Tristan McKenzie getting hurt, not to mention 2 guys already on his IL. We got to speed this up. Come on.
Exit out. No, leave it all though.
So yeah, I mean, like Lindor and Adames is really good, but other than that, like the hitting is just kind of average. And the pitching is really just kind of average too. So there's not, the middle of the road team. We have 6 minutes. Ganji, you are up next at number 7.
I'll talk about Ganji's team.
Where the hell is he?
He's the fucking cabbage boy. No more wits. All right, Ganji. I like your team a lot. I fought for it to be higher. I thought your infield is really solid.
I also fought for it to be higher.
I like your outfield too, and I think your pitching is good. You have 3 solid starters, and Sevy could potentially be alive, and Lidolos was having an insane breakout. So yeah, I think it is very good and may not finish in the bottom half. I mean, you made the playoffs last year with AJ, so maybe you can do it by yourself. All right, next.
Number 6 is Sam
Stein. All right. I know what Sam's gonna say. It's like, you always rank my team low because I don't draft pitching and he has strong hitting, and then he always finishes somewhere on the top. So yes, we're putting you in the same spot year after year because we make the same mistake. Your pitching lacks an ace, like we always say. I think it's pretty solid though, still with Darvish, Gilbert, Lynn, and Morton. You drafted Morton extremely late, which was pretty solid. You're going with the 0 relief pitcher strategy, which don't know how that's going to pan out for you, considering you can't put the RPSPs in there. But yeah, you're hitting really solid. I like Tatis. I think Bichette will be good. You have Freeman and Jordan and the Yoshida. So yeah, you have your hitters that you could be a number 1 team. I think Tellez and Abrams is good for the middle infield. So yeah, not bad.
Number 5 is Jake's team. I don't know why I can't find it. Arson Judge, even though you don't have Aaron Judge. But Jason, you can talk about your best buddy's team here.
Yeah, talk about it. Glaze me up.
Yo. So initial thought when I first saw his team, I was like, wow, Jackie Robinson's a shortstop. That's crazy. He has some good hitters in there for sure. He was trying to tell me that they were a little bit better than they actually are. So which I was kind of like a little confused by that. But he does have probably the best catcher in the league that he took pretty late. So that was a good pick, especially because there's only a few good hitting catchers. And his pitching staff's pretty good. He was huge on Jim Ryan going into the draft.
It's
So-
Joe Ryan.
No, it's Jim. It's Jim Ryan.
He was huge on Jim Ryan going into the draft. So hopefully he pans out. He was on a lot of the videos that he was also watching. Like I would wake up at like 10 a.m. and he'd be like sitting on the couch grinding like Fantasy Pros videos. And they were always talking about Jim Ryan. It was insane for like 3 days, for like 3 days straight. It was unbelievable. Outside of that, obviously Corbin Burns is going to be really good. Robbie Ray is he's
He
a
wears tight pants.
He's a corpse. All right. Jake, enough with you. I am at number 4.
All right, I'll talk about your team, Junkie.
Please
Your
do.
team is good. I think it's one of the best in the leagues. Your infield is donkey dick good.
what?
Your pitching is actually insane. Like I think you have the best. I think you have the best team in the league, but you ended up at 4. McClanahan, Wheeler, Manoah, Merrill Kelly, and Miles Mikolas, and Josh Hader. Like that's fucking insane. And your hitting is still really, really good. You'll get Altuve and Mitch Haniger. I think it's very good. So just don't trade it away all to Sam like you do every year.
No trades will be made by me this year. Lose the number.
Okay.
Pampy, you are at number 3. I will quickly run through this. Jose Abreu, really good. Marcus Semien, I know we like to joke about him, but still really good. Alex Bregman, superstar. Dansby Swanson, good. Jeff McNeil, piece of shit because he's on the Mets, but he hits for a high average. Matt Chapman hasn't been good since like 2014. Mookie Betts, elite. Christian Yelich hasn't been good since 2014. Nick Castellanos, really bad last year, really good the year before. What are we going to get from him? Wilmer Flores, didn't even know this guy was still in the league. Riley Green, rookie. I have nothing to say about him. Max Scherzer, might as well be in a retirement home at this point, but he's still pitching at a really high level, but we'll see if that continues. Christian Javier, he had a really good year last year, but the Astros seemingly do that with like 17 different guys every year, and then they fall off the face of the earth. So we'll see what his story is. Blake Snell was really good on Jason's championship squad in like 2019. Hasn't really been good since. Hunter Green, a lot of people are high on. I'm not, but he still could be good. And I really liked Alexis Diaz and Martin Perez and Michael Kopech. So you basically stole my whole draft queue. So that's why you're at number 3. Number 2 is Jason's team. I have 1 minute to talk about Jason and Charlie. So Jason's team is really good. He had my first round pick. He took Ramirez and Garrett Cole, obviously really good. Corbin Carroll, I really wanted, but I didn't get him. He thinks Kyle Schwarber is the next coming of Jesus, even though he sucks. Ty France is good. And pitching staff really solid with Cole and Woodruff and Luis Garcia, with Jason Adam in the relief pitcher spot, and with Rodon coming in about a month. And then Charlie, you made the number 1 spot. Your team is really good. I told you that right after the draft. MJ Melendez is a really sick card in MLB The Show. Hopefully he's really good in real life for you. Trey Turner at number 3, really solid. Brandon Lau, good for like 30 home runs. Rafi Devers, maybe he'll have a big bounce back year. Eloy Jimenez and George Springer round out a really good outfield for you. Bellinger, I thought, was a really good pick late in the draft. And then Bieber, Max Fried, and Freddie Peralta, I think are all really solid. So I liked your team. Good luck to everyone this year. This is probably going to cut off in the middle of me talking, but I will be your champion at the end of the year, and you can all screw off.
Yeah.